Hello everyone and welcome to the Battle Gem Ponies panel. I'm the game developer, Yotes, and this is my main playtester, Kari.
I'm Kari. I'm his girlfriend and the playtester.
As far as credentials go, I'm a student studying game development, and she's a Pokemon master.
I've caught all of them on Black 2. I've literally completed the Pokédex. 130 hours, I think, went into that file.
So this icon you see before you is going to be the icon for the game. And if you can tell by these elements here, this is going to be similar to Pokemon. You're going to have ponies, and they're going to have special talents, and those talents involve spitting fireballs at each other, throwing ice shards, and just doing all kinds of magical, violent things. And since I'm pretty sure most of you haven't heard of me before, I'm gonna just show you an example of a game that I've made just recently that has led to the development of this game. It's an action RPG, and a lot of its elements are going into the new game.
Just to let you guys know, he literally does everything by himself. He's an indie developer and he's still in school and he's literally doing everything by himself.
As you could have seen in that trailer, there were a lot of systems being made. That was the first game I've ever really made, the first RPG and everything, and since making that, I've been able to learn how to do things like make a text box appear, make your character move around, have things collide with each other. That game took about a year to make, and I've hit a lot of bumps. And now I'm stronger for it, and I'm able to put all the things I've learned into something bigger. The sort of game I've wanted to make forever, really. Something Pokemon-based. And I remember back in high school, before I even knew what programming was, I wanted to make my own Pokemon game. But I've just never been able to, because as soon as I would try, there are a lot of bumps that come in the way. Now I'm starting to get some steam on it, and I feel like showing you all exactly what I've made so far. So, let's get up to them. Oh, there's more than 16 bits, for sure. So this is all made in Unity with a 2D toolkit, so most of this is just all from scratch. Let's start a battle. the idea is that your pony is a shapeshifter. So she just changed into that form, that changed her typing, her class. And that leads to a sort of rock, paper, scissors mechanic in this turn-based RPG. Always trying to be one step ahead of your opponent. But if you notice, when you do switch, that means you're going to go last that turn. So make sure the thing you're switching to can take a hit. I dig what they're going to do, but there's also a bit of easiness to read it all. If you're going to face a fire guy, and the opponent's going to predict that you're going to use your water guy, maybe you want to switch it up and use the thing that they would switch to. Like you know they have electricity, and that electricity would beat your water one, so choose a ground one instead. So sweet. So all these ponies are inspired from either the show or just Pokemon itself. It's a fandom thing, really. As you can see, each one has its own stats, and you can check what each move actually does if you push a little touch button. So we'll show that next. That there was an example of a dual type move with both fire and electricity. So the pony can have two stats and so can the moves. If you check on the move info, you can see what the move is strong against, what it's weak against, and it would give it a little description. Right now the description is just filler text. I've yet to code all that stuff. It's all going to be localized for various different languages. So the way it's coded right now, you could replace the text with any language you want. And if you look at these stats, there's this one, this icon here, shows you there's physical attacks and there's energy attacks. The sword icon represents a physical attack. This is a contact move and it's based on your attack stat. Whereas if you click a different move, it would show you an energy symbol to show that it's an energy attack. So you're not making contact with the foe. And the icon next to it is the accuracy icon, and it represents how much, what's the percentage out of 100 that your attack is actually going to hit the opponent. And then next to that is the class icon to show what class the move is. This one is an ice move. If you use an ice move on a water pony, it's probably not going to do much damage. So, stress switch. See, that was a light move being used on a pony of the same type, so it's not doing much damage. So you want to try to switch ponies. But since their only other option is fire, things are looking pretty one-sided. Opponent might switch. Alcohol seems to be the best bet since it's dual class and the second class isn't the same class as the one you're attacking. So that was a super effective hit. Knockout. You can probably finish this one off in just one hit. And get in by a slither, skin of its teeth. If it was possible, I'd have a very energetic announcer talking over the whole game, but that's eating up a lot of memory. This game is going to be mobile, so I want to keep the file size pretty small. It's going to be available on iOS, Android, and probably on Steam if I can get onto there. Looks like she's about to win this battle. Destroy that thing. Decimated. All right. Victory. All right. Tyler's dead. Tyler is the name of the NPC that's just protesting. Right now, that's all that exists of the game in physical form. Everything else exists in Word document and a bunch of spreadsheets. Just endless spreadsheets of information and data. There's going to be 360 moves and 60 different ponies to use. And 40 of those ponies are going to have ultra forms, which are more powerful, beefed up versions when you have a certain item equipped. So let's talk about things one by one here. So let's talk about battle gym ponies. far as where did it start? And it started with this game called Pokémon. It's a game that I've been following for a really long time, and I was watching Kari play it, and I was just like, wow, this game is really amazing. What if they just like took it to a new level, just make like an entire new adventure, but with ponies instead of Pokemon? Because one, ponies are cuter, and I think you can do a lot with the theming there. Just how cute it is, really. Cute things doing awesome things. It's a nice combination. And based on the different like main characters that you're all familiar with, they just give you this certain feeling that you just can't get anywhere else. When you see something even just like Rainbow Dash, you can feel its personality. And the making of has been a long process. I started this project in December after the release of the unicorn training game I showed earlier. And ever since, I've just been drafting, like, what is this game going to look and feel like? I want it to be a mobile game, the game you could play in your hand passively while you're watching something, or maybe you're on the toilet in an elevator, you know, not a toilet in the elevator. Like, no, that's future technology. Like, that's 2025 stuff. We don't have that yet. Yeah. And I was heavily influenced by like the GBA art style, mostly because when I tried drawing things by hand with like a drawing tablet, it looked pretty horrible. Like, so I wanted to do pixel art because you can make pixels perfect. You can go in and zoom in on the squares and delete things until it looks exactly right. And I wanted to make a nice size for them all. So I settled on this weird realm between like 32-bit and 16-bit. It's like semi-GBA, DS, somewhere in between there. It's kind of cheating since it's using Unity and it's doing a whole bunch of fancy things with the sprites that you couldn't do with something straight 16-bit. And also for the trainer designs themselves, I was very inspired by the Pokemon ones from Ruby and Sapphire because I've always wanted a trainer that looked like me, really. They're all just like little guys with caps on. I wanted something with like fancy hair. And for the girl one, I wanted something that contrasts, that pops out. So when you're exploring the world, you could just see things differently. So this is what I'm envisioning the overworld to look like. Right now, it's pretty much a mess when you try to walk around. I want the pony to be able to follow you, kind of like Pokemon Yellow, where you could just turn around and check on your pony, see how it's doing. It builds this kind of bond with it. I want you to bond with this pony. This is your pony. And you can make it do whatever you want, look however it wants. It's going to be just really tied to you. That's why there's only one and it shapeshifts. You don't have a team with you. It's you and your partner against the world. It's also going to be playable in portrait mode, so at any time you can just turn your phone upward and just play with one hand. I think this is an important thing to keep things comfortable and passive. I wanted it to look nice in any kind of form you play it on. And there's going to be an adventure mode alongside it, but even though the main focus is PvP, I want there to be a story. So you would be going on your regular adventure, you're collecting badges, you're battling the champions, you're facing an evil team, just the basic things you would expect, and that just need to be there. But along the way, you're going to find twists and turns, some things to throw you through a loop, because we've all played Pokemon, I'm pretty sure, at least 7 times. So you like tasting something different, but something the same enough that it's welcoming and you know what you're getting. A big thing with the adventure mode is the boy and girl stories are going to be about as different as the 2 different Pokemon releases would be. You're after a different legendary. The evil team has a specific plan based on that character. You both have different family situations, and the way you start off the game and how things unfold from there are just completely different. It gives you a reason to play through multiple times, alongside just trying different strategies and different combinations. The main thing about this game is I've always wanted to play a Pokemon game where you didn't have to grind as much, where you could just you could try something new whenever you want, instead of just sticking with this one that is the best, or your 6 favorite ones. You should be able to just mix and match and try different combinations all the time. So that's why your one pony has one level of experience. When you level it up, all its forms are also leveled up. So you don't have to go back and grind if you want to just see what this other form does in battle. So the gym leaders for this game are called Mavens, and there's only going to be 4 of these, and they're going to be very tough boss fights where you're just testing a specific strategy. The game story is supposed to train you up for the PvP that comes later, so you could go play online against other opponents and have this sort of competitive community going. But this is training you for that. These guys are going to have very specific and very hard to defeat challenges. And there's going to be no way for you to just sweep through them. Because the way it works is once you enter their gym, you're set to a certain level. Like, it cuts you to 50. And sort of like Pokemon Stadium, you're going to be evenly matched. And it's not about overpowering the Maven, it's about outsmarting them. And as for the evil team, there's going to be called the Paragon Cartel. And they have very mysterious motives, but the main thing you can expect is they are after a legendary alicorn of either the day or the night, and they are going to wreak some very serious havoc, and you need to get that alicorn out of their hands. Maybe even use the opposite alicorn to defeat them. But no spoilers just yet. I'm hoping to come back next year and show a beta version of this game where the whole story is complete, and you can see a little bit of that. Right now, they only exist in Word document form, as my main priorities right now is coding the game, just making the battle system itself work and be really solid. Then, like every 3 months, I will be releasing a playable version of the game. Right now, it's pre-alpha version 2. You can download that, and there should be a new version at the end of October to play with more PvP options. There's going to be joypad support. It's going to have an overworld that you can explore. And these are the ponies that are currently playable in the demo. So these are the first 3, Cimber, Minerva, and Orsina. Very diverse types, and they very well exemplify the rock, paper, scissors mechanic of one can defeat the other. One is always strong against the other. And they also have dual classes, so you can try out the more fancy moves. So, and these are the other 3, and they are Thestra, Xenoir, and Sweetbot. If you could tell, each one is inspired by a different thing. Like Thestra is inspired by the fan pony called Lavender. It's like the daughter of Spike and Rarity, just looking at that design. And then Xenoir is inspired by the Xenomorphs from Alien, because I played Alien Isolation recently, and yeah.
And I think we all know where Sweetbot came from.
Yeah. That was like one of my first priorities. I had to have a Sweetbot in this game, because that's just too cool of an idea. And each of these guys are going to have ultra forms where they look extreme and just radical, and Xenoir is going to look a lot more like a scary-looking xenomorph by the end of that. And let's see an example of what an ultra form would be. You give it a certain item that's based on its class. So there's going to be an ultra stone, I'm calling it right now, for each class. So if you give the plant one to Minerva, this is what it'll turn into in battle. So that form is a lot more powerful and scary, and it even, sometimes it would change up your types. I'm comparing this more to Mega Evolution, since the effect is only effective in battle. Once you're out of battle, it turns back into its smaller, cuter form that can actually fit on the screen in the overworld maybe, because some of these ultra forms are going to be very huge. And the overworld is currently completely planned out. It's going to be very, very big. It is going to be a very full adventure. You're going to see the sights, and there's just a whole lot to do. You're going to, oh boy. As far as coding goes, I know I can make it because after unicorn training, I got the basics of how to make a map and how to make the collisions on the map work, how to make interactions on the map work. After that, it's just a matter of making different tile sets and putting interesting things in each location. The game is going to feel interesting the whole way through. And once you think there's a certain repetitive pattern going on, things are going to switch up on you. But I don't want to reveal everything here. I still want that to be a genuine surprise when you're playing the game for the first time. It's just for each location, just very diverse and colorful. I want this game to kind of burn into your memory a little. So there's just going to be a bunch of different places to look at. As far as the graphics go, I want it to be vibrant, colorful, sort of, again, in that 16 to 32-bit area. There's going to be chiptune music just to pounce to, and it's just going to feel very, very solid, like a full game experience. For the multiplayer, it's heavily inspired by Pokemon Stadium games, where you're going to have a pool of 6, and your opponent's going to have a pool of 6, but out of that pool of 6, you're going to pick 3 to take into battle. The opponent's not going to know which 3, but they're going to see what your options are, and again, before the battle even starts, you're already having a rock, paper, scissors moment where you're trying to predict what the opponent's going to pick. Just try to outpick them. You're going to be able to play online, and I know I'm going to have to implement this feature because for my graduation project at school, I have to make an online playable version of this. So, if anything, I have not only myself kicking my butt and her, I have my teachers kicking my butt saying to make this work, if possible. And one of my favorite things about this game is going to be what I'm calling the Oatmeal Challenge. If anyone's familiar with Season 1 and Pinkie Pie says, oatmeal. All right, okay. Because when I wanted to implement this, people said I was crazy because nobody got the joke. But this is a mode for crazy people. Instead of a Nuzlocke challenge, it's going to be a built-in challenge into the game. It's sort of a permadeath situation. When your opponent gets knocked out, you lose that form forever. Cannot have it again. And if you lose all of them, you end up only with the starter pony you get, which in this case is going to be sort of comparable to Eevee, where you get your starter pony, but the person who gives it to you has no idea what it is, and they're discovering it alongside you. So it's a way to get across a lot of exposition, really, since it's exploring the game and explaining all the details, but the characters are learning alongside you because you have this very special pony that nobody else has, and it does a very weird thing where it could change its form into any of the 18 classes, whereas most ponies can only have their ultra form. Makes it very interesting. So Battle Gem Ponies is, again, coming to iOS, Android, Steam, and it's going to have gamepad support. And really hope you all can check it out. Right now, the current release plan is summer 2016, because by then I should be graduating, and at least the game should be in beta by then. If you ever want to see progress on the game, I do bi-weekly updates on Tuesdays and Fridays. I always put up an update as what is the state of the game right now, as a way to keep me sane and also show to people what it's like to create a game from scratch. Because there's a lot of ups and downs and just very serious walls that get in the way. And I want to document it all just so people can see, because I've always wanted there to be something like that for me to see. Because I'm so curious, like, how do you make a game? How did you go from this like scribble on a napkin in a restaurant into something like fully playable? I explain in detail just exactly what goes into it all. And that's also where you're going to be able to find out when a new version is released. If you only want to see when a new version is released and just not get bogged down with the development updates, you could just follow me on YouTube, and I always put up a new video when a new build is released, just showing off what it's like. Yeah, I'm also on Twitter and Facebook and all that. So just look up Yolt's Games and you'll find me everywhere. So now we'll go back to playing the game some more and start up some Q&A. All right. So if anyone has any questions, microphone's right there.
Please line up. If you guys can line up in this.
All right.
Eva is literally the worst. She always kicks my butt.
Alright. But my question is, are you worried at all about copyright infringement on either My Little Pony or Pokemon? Because you have two very big companies, Hasbro and Nintendo, that could find out and fight you for this.
That was my primary concern when first getting started, so I'm very careful with it. These are not the My Little Pony characters. They're just inspired by the My Little Pony characters. And as far as mechanics go, Pokemon doesn't have the right to all turn-based RPGs. So it's just a turn-based RPG with pony-inspired characters that feels a lot like Pokemon. And that's just the vibe I'm trying to get across.
Alright, very excited about the game, thank you.
So as a competitive Pokemon player for a while now, through like Pokemon Showdown, etc., how will IVs, EVs, unique stats, move power be handled in the game?
Yes, that was one of the primary goals of this project, to make the competitive Pokemon scene very accessible. Whereas the game itself is going to have all the features you'd expect from Pokemon Showdown, where you customize your pony, get ready for battle. So instead of like grinding for EVs and IVs, you can just set them with a slider before the battle even starts. Alright.
Minerva's a normal.
Very tough ponies.
So you kind of mentioned it a little bit with the PvP. So when you're traveling the world, you have your one pony.
Yes.
And you have all the different forms it morphs into. Do you like select 6 that it can choose from at any given time or something like that?
So each town is going to have a little hub where you can go in and pick the 6 to take with you on your travels. But with the 6, you can equip 3. And those are the ones that are going to be active in battle for you to use. And if one of those faints out, you can just swap it with one of the other 6. But once you're all out, you have to reset. Pretty much your game over condition is that.
Nice.
You lose all 6.
Considering the main series Pokemon games have only one save file, are you going to be sticking to that, or are you going to be having multiple save files?
I want there to be multiple save files. There are going to be 3 different save slots. The way I see it in my head is, one is your serious playthrough, one is your experimental playthrough, and one can be just for kicks or for sharing with a friend, where you can play as the boy, you can play as the girl, and then you have an extra slot where you can just try weird combination things, or you could try the oatmeal challenge, and with no really loss to like wager on. You're not going to lose your good file that you take online and use every day, but you can still have a file you just play around with and do whatever you want.
My question is, how dependent or independent will we be to say HMs were back in Pokemon, like for travels and whatnot?
I'm pretty sure HMs annoy everyone. Do HMs annoy everyone? That's why I got rid of them. Because I've always figured, like, if there's a rock in your way and you have like this Pokemon that's a rhinoceros with a gigantic horn, you think it could just smash through it just because it's a gigantic rhinoceros. But no, you have to give it this special move. You have to sacrifice, your god-powerful earthquake move just so you can get past this rock and continue on your way. So if you just have,
For one of the worst moves in the game on top of that. Who
so,
actually likes Rock Smash?
So basically, if you have an Aqua class pony with you, you can hop on its back and surf. If you have a pony that's strong enough to break rocks, you can break rocks. If you have a pony on your team with sharp claws, it can cut through trees. That's just all you need.
Thank you.
Are you planning on moving to actually making video games for consoles, or are you just sticking to mobile right now?
Right now I'm sticking to mobile and PC because ever since I learned programming and I saw like the mobile thing booming, I was just wondering, why aren't there like Game Boy quality games on this thing? Why is it always Flappy Bird and just rip-offs of Flappy Bird? Why can't there be like serious games on mobile? So that's one of my goals here, to make a solid game for mobile that's comparable to what you would find on a Nintendo handheld. Just raise the bar a little.
Okay, thank you.
Will it be available for tablets?
For tablets, yes.
Okay, like iPad.
It's going to be on iPad and any Android tablet you want.
Thank you.
you're kicking butt. Oh, maybe they're kicking your butt. Alright.
Okay. I do have to say you have for Android and iOS. Why not the Windows?
Windows Phone?
Yeah.
Because I need Windows 8 to program for Windows Phone, but I just downloaded Windows 10, but I didn't install it because if something goes wrong and this panel couldn't happen, I'd cry. So after this panel, I'm gonna download Windows 10, play with things. I should be able to get it onto Windows Phone soon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna release it on every platform I really can, even on Ouya, just because.
Good luck with that.
Oh yeah, Unity is so flexible. It's now that I have a MacBook, it's a matter of just clicking what system I want to build it to and having a license for that system. So
you mentioned using potentially bringing it to Steam. Do you plan on using the Steam Greenlight system to?
yes, on Steam Greenlight. Once the game is at least in beta, then I'll start showing it to the general public that sort of way. Where I would email sites like IGN and just say, look at this game for mobile. It's an intense RPG, and you should at least give it a look.
All right, thank you.
Let's see what happens after that.
Hey, Oates. We're both game developers here, so but for all the I guess rookie game developers, what are your 3 biggest lessons, I guess, since you've ever started game development?
Biggest lessons is when you're getting started, you think it's going to be very, very fun and easy. Things are going to happen, and you're going to spend most of your time playtesting the game and just tweaking things to make it even more fun. But you're going to be spending a lot more time getting it to work at all, and you're going to find yourself playing a lot less video games than you used to. I rarely played. The most recent thing was Stick of Truth, the week building up to this con.
That's because he's been at my house and he's taking a break.
Yeah.
But he works very, very hard. I'm with him a lot because we go to school together and everything. We've been dating almost 2 years, so.
I haven't played games in a long, I rarely play games, but I try to make sure during school, every Saturday I would take time off because that's another lesson. You need to have decompression time where you relax. So every Saturday is just dedicated to clear my mind, relax, get ready for work again. So, because when it comes to bugs, you're gonna create more bugs when you're tired. So, take your eyes off the screen for a little while. Get back to it later.
Thanks, man.
So, I guess you're mainly a programmer, but I have to ask, as someone who does everything in the game, how did you start doing the music?
Okay, the music is actually done by 2 very good artists that I just put out a call for on mylittleremix.com, and they just responded instantly. They are Justin Hang and Eric Eom, and on the title screen there's a link to their SoundCloud accounts where you can just listen to all the things they made. They're really good, they're really fast with the music where I just request something and they have something ready by the next day. It's a really good process here.
Okay, thank you. Hey there, the game looks fantastic so far. The game looks fantastic so far.
The class is so far?
No, the game looks fantastic so far.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
As a programmer, sort of a good programmer, not really. I guess you are programming most of the game. So what was some challenges that you had while programming the game? This game.
Right now, the most challenging thing to program in this game is the combat system. In fact, I plan on after this, next week, I plan on starting from scratch because there are a lot of glitches with the battle calculations. When you use a certain class move, it should have a class advantage. It also calculates critical hits, whether it misses or not, and side effects, whereas it would activate again on multiple turns or cause status effects. You could get poisoned or burned or frozen. And code all that stuff. Yeah. And also, some of these ponies seem very OP, so I need to tweak the balancing a little bit more. So, right now.
All right, thank you.
Playing it more now than when I did before. They're a lot, because I played this before for him. I don't remember when the game.
That was my BYOC demo. At my school, there was a BYOC, and I had a very, very early building of the game.
And they were a lot, even more so, one was overpowering the other. But playing it more now, it's definitely, he's made a lot of progress just in a short amount of time, and they seem a lot more evenly matched than before. I think so.
A big part of the game is going to be balancing. So once the game hits alpha, like hopefully by January, it's going to be just straight playtesting as often as possible, where I just get the game into everyone's hands, come download this, tell me what's broken, what's not, and I'll be playing vigorously myself, trying to figure out how to make the game just feel really good. I'm going to talk about the different classes. There's... Yeah, just show like what each move is strong and weak against. So, question?
I've been a big fan of Pokemon since it first came out, and I've been playing every game. This is really awesome. What do you do? Are you collecting ponies at all? I know you said you just have one pony that's with you.
Yes, you have your one pony that's with you. To acquire the different forms, you need to encounter them in the wild and use a certain item to capture that gem signal. Like each pony is just radioactive and emitting this signal, and that's the equivalent of catching with a Pokeball, where you try to capture this signal. The thing is, like when a pony bonds with a trainer, they are bonded, and the signal is just too hazy to interact with, so you just can't catch another trainer's pony. That's how I'm getting around that loophole there.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
She actually pretty much answered my first question about like.
Just with 6 of them, even? There, that's good. I figure maybe it would be a good idea to talk about the different classes, because there are quite a few that are different from Pokemon. So I'll let him do that.
I'll get right on it. So they're in order from like across the top to the bottom. There's Fire, Aqua, Surge, Plant, Ice, Key, which is fighting, Toxic, Earth, Air, Esper, Bug, Ghost, Draco, which is Dragon, and Steel, Light, Dark, Chaos, and Magic. And each of them interacts differently. There's even a fancy tree. Let's see. Demonstrating the different type advantages. Yeah. Very complex web here. Each one interacts differently. So, balancing this has been very interesting, but these aren't going to be like the end-all, be-all, who's going to win against what. Whereas one class would have a lot of weaknesses, their stats compensate for that, or they have specific moves that compensate for that. Like, the thing with Pokemon is, like, the bug type is always very weak, so why not beef them up a little and have them be sort of bloodsuckers, where the main thing about them is they're always sapping your HP each turn. So that makes them a lot more powerful to use. Alright, question?
Yeah, my first question was answered by the person before me, about acquiring the different forms of your pony. But I guess one more question, which was I heard you mention like, it's called Battle Gem Ponies, and you mentioned like the radioactivity of and something about gems. And on one of the slides, there was a picture on like the combat screen where it had like moves, and then gems was another button there. Can you elaborate a little bit on what gems are and what the role they play in the game?
We haven't showed that yet. The gems itself, each pony has a gem. No, it's on the game.
Oh,
that's great. You have to finish your turn.
I knew that, I promise.
So, stats, like you have 3 different gems, just gem signals, and when your pony emits that signal, it turns into that form. So that gem in the chest is where all their power is coming from. Like each move has GP, that's their gem power, and when they run out, they can't use their magic anymore and just resort to tackling each other.
So will there be like a basic attack separate from normal moves?
Yes, once all 4 of your moves are drained, then you're just resulting to tackling, and that takes a little bit of your own HP, sort of like struggle in Pokemon.
I was going to say similar to struggle.
Yeah. And for the oatmeal challenge, once that gem form is cracked, like every time you're KO'd, your gem cracks, so you lose that form. But you can always revive it, but not in oatmeal mode. In only mode, you can't revive it, so it's broken forever. But it stays in your inventory so you can look at it and feel bad about yourself. Because I like for there to be like a sort of, once you beat the game, like you take a little snapshot of it, like rest in peace, my warriors who fought so hard for me. Sort of like that sad thing. And here you can see all your stats and just move along to each one. Once they're knocked out, you can't really see it anymore because they aren't relevant to the battle. You're gonna have items and you're gonna have different abilities. Like you can customize all these things outside of battle, where you could set which ability of 2 that you want to use. And yeah, a lot of it's just filler text since like those features aren't implemented. But now that the battle system is working, I can start putting those small details in. Yeah, no, right now it's just
First, I'd just like to compliment you. Best use of blood sucking at a BronyCon panel so far that I've heard. Yeah? I'm actually a chiptune musician, so I write Nintendo music, and we should talk. I don't know if you guys are
we should.
Taken care of there, but also I'm running the panel next, and I was wondering if I was wondering if it's okay if I shout it out. I'm gonna show everyone how to write Nintendo music in 30 minutes in this room. So keep your butt planted if you are into 8-bit stuff, which you probably are, judging from the fact that you're here.
All right.
So excellent.
Good.
Thanks.
Okay, so I have just 2 questions. One really quick and one just a bit longer. Really quick, is it going to be out for Mac because...
Yes, I just recently bought a Mac so I could put my games on iOS, and now I can make games for Mac too, so that's good.
That was just like a quick question, but more of a non-quick question. Have you ever considered, instead of like a GP, like the PP of Pokemon moves, like just an overall power for the gem, like 100% power, and moves drain a certain amount of power from the gem, and then it's just like...
I tried a bunch of battle systems like that, and back in high school I made a game, like a fan game for Dragon Ball Z with a system like that where you had one big old pool and each move drained a different amount, but that turned out not to be quite as fun. So right now, each move has a certain amount of times you can use it. Right now, it's like turned on to double because the way I had like bugs going on when you try to use tackle. So to cover up that, I just doubled the amount of PP you're allowed to use in here. So in the actual game, there will be stakes where you can't use Fire Blast like 5 times. You're gonna maybe only be able to use it 3 times and then it's gone. So,
thank you.
Hello. One of my questions is with the GP. When you mentioned it, I kind of got the idea where maybe if you switch to a different one, well, that gem would be resting, so it would recover the gem points. Have you thought about trying something like that?
I've tried thinking about like having a steady recovery system, even like different statuses for each form, but to unify it as to make it feel like one pony with these 3 sets of superpowers. It needed to be where each of those different forms is getting weaker, not because the pony is getting weaker, but because the gem is exerting too much power, and once it's out, you either need to switch it up or go to the hub and revive it.
Okay, and would there be items then for...
Yes, your pony can hold 1 item, but each gem form can be customized to have an ability and an augment, where the ability is something like where each turn it would revive a little bit of HP, or if it gets a status effect, it lasts no longer than 1 turn. Sort of like Shed Skin, whereas an augment would be a power boost where like fire moves do 10% more damage, and an item would usually be like the Ultra Stone to make it into its Ultra form, but you can only have 1 of those, so you have to choose carefully.
Okay, thanks.
So,
Hey there.
Hey.
Question. You mentioned that there's going to be 60 ponies available for the full game.
Yes.
Now, is it going to be all 60 going to be comparable viable for competitively, or there's going to be some that will stand out more than others?
One of my other goals with this is to have it so there are no like uber tiers that are just overpowered and excluded from play. I want everybody to try any combination. Like you could win with the very first pony you catch in the wild against a legendary. And I want that to be like a sort of fair thing. When you fight the actual legendaries, they're not going to be the same one that you get. They have very boosted up stats. Because when you capture that legendary signal, it's your pony turning into that legendary, not that legendary itself. Like that thing is a level 100 beast with like 999 stats. And yours is more modest. So it's more well balanced like that.
Okay, I had a question, actually two. Will you have like something like where you travel all over in Pokemon, where you go to like different gyms and stuff? And will you be able to use the HM moves like similar to Pokemon?
Yes, but instead of like taking up a move slot for like a move that you really don't want to use, or doing what I do and just capturing an HM slave to just hoard it all, then it's like eating up a party slot. You can just carry a pony in your party with that makes sense, where if you have a water pony, you can hop on its back and swim.
Will this be available for iPhone?
Yes.
Okay.
iPhone and Android.
Okay, good. Looking forward to it.
I have a question regarding the leveling system you were talking about earlier, about how you have the one shapeshifter, and when you acquire a new form, it stays with the level of the being you have. How would that affect the form learning moves and things like EVs and IVs, because that has to go with leveling up?
Like a big thing is, at each town there's going to be a hub where you can customize your ponies, like its stats, its move pool, and everything like that. When you level up, your pony has access to more moves. There's even going to be like a readable list in-game that shows what moves you know now and what moves you're going to learn next. And like the moves you know now, and then underneath it there's going to be like a next move you're going to learn, and right next to that is going to be the level you have to be to learn that next move. So there's always just this goal going on, and when you do reach that level, you can switch forms, and suddenly that form can have access to that new move. So you're going to be able to just customize your moves whenever you want.
I see.
Hope you guys aren't getting bored. It's like my campfire thing.
Another question.
Show caps.
Will it be free or paid, or are you gonna go like with horse training? With the free version and a paid version?
There's going to be a free demo alongside it that's going to go like up to the first town and story event, just so you can get a feel for the game. The actual game itself is going to be $4.99, and then it's going to be synonymous on all platforms, whereas like if there's a Steam sale and it's on sale for like 50 cents, I'm going to mark the price down the same way for all platforms.
Thank you. And there's no microtransactions.
No, I'm very against that.
So you're paying a flat fee for a really good game.
Like that's another part of the whole making mobile have games similar to a Game Boy, where you pay once and you have fun probably forever. Like I can still go back and enjoy Pokemon Red and Blue because it's a solid game that's complete. You don't have to buy like revival items, or you don't have to like purchase in-game gems to unlock new ponies. You just you get what you get. Yeah.
I just have two extra questions. Sorry for asking this. One is I don't think this is in the works, but I want to ask anyway. Is there any plans in the future for like double battles or any other kind of battles that Pokemon usually have? And two, are you gonna try like putting this game like on consoles like Wii U or PS4 in the future?
As for consoles, right now, no, because I'm not sure if it's a good fit for that. It's mostly just touchscreen based, where you just push the big old buttons on the screen. And I will have joypad support, and based on how that feels, I could try to get it onto consoles. That's why Ouya's sort of experimental for me. Based on how it feels and plays on that platform, I'll consider like putting it on like Xbox Live Arcade or something. And as for double battles, I tried to implement that, but then just way too many bugs and just way too many things going wrong. Then I have to reconsider how to balance all the different ponies. So for this first game, I'm just focusing on one-on-one battles. If this does really well, I will just continue making more and experimenting with different battle systems, just to make each game in the series more interesting.
Sweetwater is too good.
Alright, thank you.
Can you get your Can you get your pony healed just like inside Pokemon?
Can you get your pony to look just like a Pokemon?
No, can you get your pony healed just like a
Yes, you can heal it. Yes. You have
okay,
revival
thank you.
items. Yeah. I'm gonna show that the caps menu. So right now it doesn't work because I haven't implemented items yet, but in here you would be able to use things like little cookies to heal your HP or just little revival items to put something back into battle. You wouldn't be able to use that stuff in like tournament battles, like against Mavens or the champions, or even in PvP, but against like a random trainer or a wild pony or even like a Paragon Grunt, you would be able to heal since like it's not an official league battle.
I've got 2 questions. Question 1, are you going to do like what Pokemon does with multiple versions, or will all the various Pokemon forms be available in one game?
Yes, you'll be able to catch them all. So some are going to be very, very hard to get, and I even have plans for a very cryptic pony for a little post-game play where it's going to be very, very, very hard to get, and it's going to be a very special legendary Alicorn. I'll just leave it at that.
Alright. My second one is, do you get skills as you level? Do you lose those skills, or when you go, or you just keep them and you're only allowed to equip so many at a time?
You have them at a pool, so when you level up and you have access to that skill, it is yours forever to switch whenever you want, as long as you go to a town into the hub and just customize your pony in there. Once you're out in the field, you're stuck with your team.
Alright, I watched that. Just generated one extra question. Are you gonna be able to, so since it's one pony, your entire pool will be able to use across all of your forms?
Your move pool is specific to the gym form.
Okay.
So each gym form is like neatly organized into like your party menu.
So you can't switch to your dark pony and say use a light move with it?
No.
Okay.
But there will be things like similar to TMs, I'm calling them move tutors, where you could teach them special moves that they wouldn't be able to learn on their own. So that's how you would get some weirder move combinations. Sort of like how Gyarados knows fire, like flamethrower.
Thank you very much. This looks great, by the way.
Thank you.
You guys are really awesome, by the way. Give yourselves a round of applause.
So I'm real impressed that you're both a programmer and you've been able to make what I can tell is really great artwork. Where did you learn how to do all the pixelated artwork? Are you self-taught?
Pixel art is all from like since 9th grade. I've just been toying around with MS Paint, doing like little pixel art. Like I'd look at like Mario and Kirby sprites and like zoom in on them, like just to see like how do they do that? They make these little squares look like this moving cartoon, and I've just been fascinated with it. And it's brought me to this point. I still use Microsoft Paint, but now with a combination of using GIMP, where I make the basic pixel art in Microsoft Paint just to have like the good like blocky look down. Then I take it into GIMP and do fancy things with gradients and layers and transparency.
Okay, thank you.
Once all 3 gems are, well, KO'd, will you need to make like another sprite set for just the base pony, no forms, no anything?
Your base pony is going to be your starter pony, and once like you use all 3 gems in the overworld, you're gonna resort to that form, that base starter pony form.
But like, does the starter pony actually have like an HP pool and like
yes.
G and like PP pool and all of that? And just
so like for an example, if you're doing the oatmeal challenge and you have 3 special gems assigned, once all those are knocked out and you go back to the hub, you're gonna start off with a fully healed base pony that is your starter. Okay. Like every time you die, you're not gonna go back to the overworld like nothing happened. If you like KO all 3, you're gonna be reset back to the last hub you visited.
Okay, so it's just like the Pokemon KO system.
Yeah.
That just made me think of something. Is like in Pokemon, you know, there's always 3 starter Pokemon. You know, Water, Grass, and Fire. Obviously, if you have one, like you compared it to Eevee, are there gonna be like, is every starter Pokemon, whatever, gonna be exactly the same, or are you gonna have 3 different like styles or looks, you know, or multiple ones that you can choose, even if their stats are all like the same and it's the same kind of plain pony without a gem?
There's like going to be a situation early on in the game where you meet your starter pony in a very dire situation against a Paragon Grunt who's going to harm it, and you rescue it and it loves you, so you just form this bond instantly. You go to the town's professor and he doesn't know what this pony is, and you're learning about its special ability to transform when it holds a certain item. So that's how you change to its different forms, but then he'll also give you a choice between like 3 local ponies. Like there's gonna be a plant one, a fire one, and a water one for you to choose from early on, just so you can have that sort of same choice feeling, but you can catch all 3 of those later.
Okay.
But your starter is the special one, and throughout the game you're gonna get options to like different items that make that starter turn into its different forms. So, yeah.
In comparison to Pokemon, how RNG will this be?
How
RNG, like how randomly generate, like how many of the damage multipliers are.
Okay, so for the battle calculations, it's similar to Pokemon, but since I can't like see the Pokemon source code, I'm just going by like eye and feel, where it calculates your energy attack, their energy defense, and then there's like a small, very small random variable just so that each move feels like slightly different. Then you're calculating what it does against the HP, what is your class, how does the dual class move and your dual class pony interact as far as like stat damage would go, and it just calculates things differently based on that. So you could expect like similar combat mechanics to Pokemon.
I have one question with the dual type moves, because that's something kind of new to see. How is that going to take effect with, like, if let's say a move first type is not effective towards the opponent, but the second type is neutral? Is it just going to be purely just ineffective, or is it going to factor in both types in?
You're going to take both into account. It's going to calculate, like, if you have one class that is doing super effective damage, but one that is doing failed, then the fail overrides that because you're multiplying it by 0. And if it's just neutral to it, you're multiplying by 1. If it's double, you're multiplying by 4. If it's like stacking on and you get like this amazing like times 16 damage move on the opponent, there's gonna be flashy effects, sort of like in Street Fighter when you're about to use an ultimate move, and the screen turns black and like a big old portrait slides by. It's like, oh man, this is gonna hurt you real bad.
Nice.
Good. Boom. All right. I think we're just about done here then. So, I could just ramble on for a few minutes about the future ponies coming out. I guess I could show you just a peek of that.
Singles?
Singles.
You just yeah, you just got out of singles.
Because I think it's still unfinished. Okay. Just like as an example of what's to come. Text. Battle. No. Get out of here, characters, ponies. Confirm. So, right now the list of 60 ponies. Wish I could show the actual website. Like, do I have a picture of the website? I know. I should have a GIF, yes, of yotsgames.com. So, I don't have internet access right now, but this is what my website looks like, where you find out updates on the game, other games I've made, things that are coming soon.
Why did iTunes open?
Because it wants to.
We didn't even touch iTunes.
So if you have like a comment for the game or you find a bug or something, this is where you would tell me about it, because I check this thing every single day. It's, like the design itself is just heavily inspired by Equestria Daily, the way it spits out information on just a regular basis. Yeah, so.
Is there any other one we can show them, like any picture?
Any picture? One more question? Yeah?
I came in late, so I may have missed this, but is there a demo?
Yes, we showed gameplay.
How do I get it?
You can download it on yoltsgames.com.
Oh,
cool. You can download the pre-alpha build. All right. So we're wrapping up here. We're all done. Hope you had a good time at this panel. Hope you enjoy the rest of BronyCon.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right. I love you all. Hope you can hear more from the future.